It's like JLo was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
When Elon Musk sat down with Joe Rogan, no one expected the conversation to spiral into a wild crossfire involving P. Diddy, Kamala Harris, JLo, the Epstein client list, and billionaires hiding in plain sight. But that's exactly what happened. And what Musk dropped mid-conversation had Trump's camp shook, Rogan frozen, and social media ready to combust. The whole thing started light, talking about energy, rooms, and memories, even Rogan casually mentioning that some spaces just hold on to things. But then came the pivot. Elon and Rogan, without even naming names directly at first, hinted that walking into Diddy's house would feel weird. Not just weird in the Hollywood sense, but weird like you're walking through ghosts. Musk didn't need to explain much more. Everyone around that table picked up what he was laying down.
I subscribe to the idea that places have memory. I think there's something real to that. That's why
it does feel that way, actually.
Yeah. I'm sure if you go to Diddy's house, it probably feels real weird. Probably feels weird walking around that house. Probably like, what the f in here?
Yeah.
I bet there's some memories in that house.
What came next wasn't just random talk, it was a breakdown. Rogan brought up how wild it is that so many folks in Diddy's circle, despite all the lawsuits and allegations, still out here loud supporting Kamala Harris.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people in the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala, too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes.
Some of them even used to be close to him in ways that can't be written off as coincidence. Jennifer Lopez, for example, Diddy's ex, has been vocal about Trump, warning people away from him like she's the moral compass of the country.
It was every Latino in this country. It was humanity and anyone of decent character.
Jennifer Lopez getting emotional in a fiery message about Donald Trump.
But that's where Elon flipped the narrative. He questioned why someone like JLo was so quick to warn people about Trump, yet never said a word about Diddy, not once. And that silence spoke volumes.
It's like JLo was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Then came the punch from Babylon Bee, a right-wing satirical news site Musk has been rocking with lately. They dropped a headline clowning the whole moment, poking at JLo for telling Americans to trust their judgment. Musk didn't just laugh at it, he leaned in. It wasn't about the comedy, it was about the hypocrisy. Because according to everyone at that table, JLo's performance, her actual warning, was terrible. Not just delivered weakly, but felt empty, like she was just reading lines meant to deflect to avoid bringing up Diddy.
There's so many humor no-fly zones.
Right.
You can't make fun of anything.
Yeah. Babylon Bee had a thing about Kamala Harris. Diddy's ex-girlfriend urges Americans to trust her judgment. Yeah. By the way, you get to see how bad an actress she is, too. That speech was terrible.
Like if she's going to be warning people, why did she never warn anyone about Diddy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That kicked off the deeper convo. Musk threw out what a lot of people been whispering for a minute. Diddy got real dirt on powerful names, and not Hollywood celebs, by the way, and that is why he might be saved. Musk and Rogan called it what it was, a compromise deal. Something in the same vein as Epstein, where people were being manipulated or blackmailed based on compromising videos or footage. They made it clear that whether Diddy was pulling the strings himself or had others helping him, he understood how to keep people under control.
Is so strange to watch play out. It seems like the Diddy thing was like an Epstein type compromise deal where he had, whether he was doing it himself, conceivably people want to think that he's attached to some intelligence agency or something like that. I think he's a gangster who made $1 billion and knew how to control people by compromising them. That's what I think.
And that's the kicker. What Rogan was suggesting wasn't just that Diddy had dirt on people. He was implying that Diddy had built an empire on controlling people through their secrets. That may be the reason so many celebrities and politicians kept quiet, or worse, showed support. Wasn't loyalty, it was fear.
Whether or not he had help, I don't know. Whether or not he shared some of that information with people so they knew they had compromising stuff on people, I don't know. But clearly he was doing it for his own jollies too. There was something sick about it.
Musk didn't hold back either. He said the industry knew, especially about Diddy and his ties to young people. Then he threw the real question in the room. Who been supplying Diddy with these young people? That's where the rot starts.
I mean, but the thing is that people in the music and entertainment industry had to know that Diddy was like, kids basically, and yet they still fed him kids. And like, where's the accountability?
There had to be rumors.
Exactly.
Yeah, on that podcast.
But like, who's feeding him the kids?
Right.
They all agreed. There had to be rumors. There had to be whispers. Yet, no one said a word. And that's where things start to resemble Epstein's orbit again. Hollywood circles knew something was off, but no one wanted to be the first to blow the whistle. Maybe because they were scared, maybe because they were compromised too. Cat Williams' name popped back up. He's one of the few calling Hollywood out without any fear, speaking on the dark side most folks won't touch.
All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
His podcast appearance was brought up as one of the rare moments when someone actually addressed Diddy's alleged parties and disturbing history without holding back.
Because P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say I'm so free.
But even Cat, with all his boldness, couldn't tear down the wall that shields dudes like Diddy. That's when the conversation took a deeper turn, moving toward politics. Musk and the crew shifted to the Epstein client list, and this is where the real fear came into focus. Musk said what many were thinking. The reason so many billionaires were backing Kamala Harris wasn't policy, it was panic, because now that Trump is in the office, the chances of Epstein client list getting unsealed is really high, and when it does, some of the richest, most powerful names on that list won't just be embarrassed, they'll be exposed.
I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Wow.
Yes. Huh. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah.
During that same conversation, Reid Hoffman's name came up almost immediately. As the co-founder of LinkedIn and a known supporter of Kamala Harris, Hoffman also had a history with Musk from their early days working together at PayPal. And when Musk was asked if Hoffman seemed nervous lately, he didn't flinch. He gave a one-word answer that said everything, yes.
Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
That one word hit like a warning shot, because if a tech heavyweight like Hoffman, who played a major part in building today's digital world, is looking over his shoulder, you gotta ask, what does he know? Or maybe even worse, what was he involved in? But it didn't stop there. Musk admitted the billionaires backing Kamala are trying to protect something deeper.
No, and I've been trashing Kamala nonstop.
Oh, I know!
Well, the Kamala puppet, I call her, The machine that the Kamala puppet represents.
Yeah, she's irrelevant. I mean, she's
Yes.
not even.
No, I made a joke which I realized I deleted, which is like nobody's even bothering to try to Kamala because it's pointless.
That something could be videos, messages, receipts, stuff Elon now got access to since he owns X, formerly Twitter. According to sources, he's allegedly sitting on mountains of DMS, old messages, backroom digital whispers, things that would scare the hell out of people if they ever got out.
And I think it's one of the main reasons that they're fearing this guy, and he's absolutely right. And he said it. It's because of that. And God knows what he knows with all the Twitter files that he has, all the direct messages from all these people.
Then the conversation took another sharp turn. Melinda Gates came up, and not just because of her divorce from Bill Gates. Musk and others referenced her on-record statement that one of the key reasons she left Bill was his connection to Epstein. She called Epstein evil personified. She only met him once and said she felt darkness just being in the same room.
He's coming for all these people. I think one of the main ones, the Epstein client list. And let's not forget what Melinda Gates, because he mentioned Gates at the end, Pat. Melinda Gates said one of the main reasons she left her husband, Bill Gates, is because his relationship with Epstein after he was a convicted pedophile. She said he was abhorrent. She said she felt he was evil personified, and she met him one time and she felt evil from him. And these guys are best friends, and I think it's one of the main reasons that they're fearing this guy.
So imagine how deep that connection had to run for her to walk away from one of the richest men in the world. Musk didn't need to say anything more. Everyone knew what was being implied. All of this context wrapped back to one central fear: Trump. Not because he's a wild card, but because according to sources, he might be the only one with guts and backing to blow everything wide open. If he wins, sources say there are no guarantees anymore for people with secrets.
Yes, right there.
I have never voted for a Democrat.
Watch this.
But this year, I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
4 years ago, if someone had told you that you would be campaigning with Liz Cheney, what would you have said to them?
That'd be great. It's really diplomatic.
Would you ever have thought that you'd be campaigning with Kamala Harris?
I hope that if you had said to me 4 years ago, our Constitution is going to be under and it's going to be crucial for the parties to come together and to support Vice President Harris because she'll defend the rule of law, I know I would have said that's exactly what I'll do.
By the time the room came back to the original question, what's really going on with Diddy, it was clear the answer was everything. Control, silence, compromise, legacy, protection, and Musk didn't flinch from any of it. What made the moment so surreal was how casual Musk remained, joking about prison, admitting he might be a target, laughing about the digital records he now controls, and still staying laser focused on one truth. This isn't about parties. This is about survival for people with names we all know.
If he loses, I'm
It does seem that way. You can't just be like,
yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is gonna be? Do you think? Will I see my children? I don't know.
Because it's not like you can say, well, yeah, I maxed out to him, but you know, I have
no plausible deniability.
And while Trump and Elon are forming what some are calling a strange new alliance, the stakes aren't just political anymore. They're personal, they're generational. They're about whose name stays clean and whose name ends up in a sealed indictment. This got the whole internet blazing. One user even said, and we better watch because it is not conspiracy theories anymore. Another user chimed in, I love that Elon Musk says whatever is on his mind and doesn't care who gets offended. Some are even anticipating they release the list. What do you think this means for everything tied to Diddy's empire? Let's hear your take in the comments. And if you're all about straight up shockers and unfiltered moments, don't miss what's coming next. Click through and stay locked in.